bunch of you guys sent me in your posts. You said, hey, will you take a look at these? Tell me what it is that I'm maybe doing right, not doing right. So we're going to go through 3 posts from people that sent their posts in prior. So Karen, she sent me this specific blog post. She said, will you look at this blog post? So the first thing that I look at on any post I get sent and asked to review is, what are you trying to target? So the Queen Creek versus Santan Valley, what is the difference? This is all right. And in fact, as I get in here, now she links here to queencreekrealestatesite.com. You know, I want you to really think about the experience of the consumer. What do you want? Like, what's the purpose of them clicking on that link? Is it just because we said, hey, you got to have a link in your blog post with an anchor text in it? What happens when I click here? Like, is there more value that answers that question? Is it like, there doesn't seem to be a real actionable item inside of the click for a living person. I can see why she did that from a search engine perspective, but you really need to think about, like, do the things that I do make sense to a real person? Sorry, she kind of caught me off guard with that one. I don't know that I'd noticed that before. Will anybody ever search for this? What's the difference between Queen Creek and Santan Valley? I don't, maybe, like, it wouldn't be. Somebody has searched for it. I mean, or Google's at least smart enough to kind of realize that who we are and what we're doing. Okay, so she should absolutely be showing up right here. So we got to look at this post and we got to figure out, why is this post not showing up on this page? Okay, so one of the reasons it should still show up for that search, so we'll dive deeper into it. I would think about your keyword phrase, and I realize that people want to you want to have something that's maybe cute, or not cute's not the right word, but that's kind of more catching or more kitschy sounding, right? Think though about, how would somebody search this? They're probably not going to search Queen Creek versus Santan Valley. What is the difference? Right? They're going to do something like, what's the difference between Queen Creek and Santan Valley? Or what's the difference, right? Like, just really think about, like, how would you say this if you were going to sit down at your keyboard and type it into Google? I don't think it would be in this format. But then as we go through here, one of the ways I really quickly check to see, does she have her keyword phrase? I'm going to hit Control F. So her keyword phrase here is Queen Creek versus, now right away I can get a sense for how often this phrase is going to be. So it's once, twice, 3 times. Okay, so she got it in her 3 times. That's good. What does her images do? Welcome to Queen Creek. Okay, so Queen Creek. So as I start to look through here, one of the things that might end up happening in this is, if she's referencing Queen Creek a bunch and it starts to outweigh Santan Valley, then her real keyword phrase inside of the post itself doesn't end up becoming, what's the difference between Queen Creek and Santan Valley? This post to me is more of a post that you would want to have on tap to be ready for somebody that asks you that question. I don't know that this is a post that where consumers are going out and finding you in the search engines because they're searching for this information. And immediately as I started reading this post, I started thinking, what about these posts? Like, these are the ones for her that I would be more concerned about is she goes in here and talks about neighborhoods in Queen Creek. These are the type, like, these are my bread and butter posts right here. I love these posts. So when I saw these, I was like, oh my goodness, she's got all these posts in here about neighborhoods. Like, those are the posts I want to see what they're about. So let's look at one of these real quick. And I mentioned earlier that your keyword phrase literally sets the stage for everything else. And what does her keyword phrase do? It puts an absolute just stamp, like an expiration date stamp, just like, boom, expires. When? June 2013. Right? Somebody finds this post a year from now, they're just totally going to discount it because it just, boom, stamped, June 2013, right at the top, right as a part of our keyword phrase. But as we go in and actually look at the content, there's nothing in here that literally stamps this as that date. Right? In fact, the content in her post is all very general sort of good evergreen content, right? What's the neighborhood like? Why do people live here? Right? If you want to get the hard sales data, she does a great job of linking you back to her website, which is exactly what we would encourage you to do. Right? So what this really is homes for sale in Cortina, in the Cortina neighborhood of Queen Creek. Something like that. Even Cortina homes for sale in Queen Creek, Arizona would be better than stamping it with this kind of, this expiration date, essentially. Okay, so we get in here, and as I land on the post, I'm always looking at what can I see without having to scroll. And so if I was a consumer who absolutely wanted to have homes for sale right now, like you have a short amount of time to capture their attention and give them those homes, right? I would be looking, oh, then she has that as a link. That's awesome, right? We'll be looking here to see where does this go now. She's got some houses there right away, so that's good, right? She wants to have houses right away. I'm not sure where the lead capture comes in here. Maybe there's lead capture, like if I want to print or view or request info. I would really be thinking about, from her perspective, is, am I capturing leads? Like, does my website give me the best tools to be able to capture leads? Otherwise, any traffic I'm generating, use 5% as a baseline. So if you don't know, first off, if you can't track traffic to your website, you'll never be able to learn this. But for us, and I know for a lot of the companies out there that do this for agents, 5% is a good baseline. So if I can get 20 visitors to my website, that should be one lead for me. If you're doing better than that, awesome. You have a really good site. If you're doing worse than that, there's probably some improvement that could be made. But if you think in terms of like how much time and effort you're putting in, look, she has a blog post for every one of these neighborhoods. So she's putting a lot of time and effort into this thing, right? She wants to make sure that effort pays off with a website that's really capable. And this one's, I'll give her an honest assessment of this. This is probably like, if the best website I've ever seen is 100%, this is probably like a 25 to 30% in terms of its potential to generate leads. And that's a very short assessment, Karen. Okay, so she does an awesome job. She's got a link there. I don't know that this necessarily lets me know that, like, these ones clearly let me know there's a link here and that I can search the MLS for Cortina Homes for Sale in Queen Creek, Arizona. Now, what I would have is this portion right here would be the link. The words search the AZ MLS for, those would not become a part of the link because I want the link to match the keyword phrase. And I want you to notice what's happening here is there's some deviation on what she's telling them the keyword phrase is, and then what she actually ends up reinforcing as the keyword phrase, because the keyword phrase here becomes this whole long deal, including June 11, 2013. But then as we get down here and we try to say in the page description what the keyword phrase is, it doesn't match that exactly. And one of the things we talk about in our SEO class is this concept of you're exactly matching your keyword phrase when you reuse it in the body of the post. Like, this just needs to go. She just needs to get rid of this, because even though I understand what she's doing for, like, hey, current home sales down here, the reality is when she links back here, and at least in an IDX that's, real solid IDX, that link coming back, like, these houses are still the current properties for sale in July, right? So she's kind of, again, just maybe short-sighting herself, or maybe maybe she, maybe these aren't currently available. I'm not sure. It looks like status change, new listing. I'm not familiar with her IDX enough to know, but the reality is we want this page to live forever, and then the pages we link to are the pages that have the current inventory in it. I would be careful for her on having the anchor text match the link, or the link match the anchor, or match your keyword phrase too much, right? Like, there's one, two, three, four. There's four links in here that have, like, some components of the keyword phrase in it. That's probably too much. And especially as you look at it in terms of how much content do we offer up, in the course of offering you up four links that essentially have the exact same verbiage, right? This could look spammy to a search engine, right? Why are you giving me four links with the exact same keyword phrase in the amount of time, in that amount of space? I also want her to be careful with use of the phrase Cortina, right? How many times do you guys think this is in here? I bet you it's in here a lot, and it's really easy to do this. Watch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. Like, 24 times. And we want to use our keyword phrase 3 to 5 times, which kind of becomes a more longer version of, like, Cortina homes for sale in Queen Creek. But 24 usages of the phrase Cortina, like, ugh. I want you to think, I think they're pronouns, right? Like, it, or, the community, or this neighborhood. Like, Cortina is truly one of the most desirable communities in the area. Like, this neighborhood is truly one of the most desirable communities in the area, right? Another huge draw to it is the fabulous location, right? Like, this becomes just overkill. And in terms of a search engine, they look at this and they go, like, is somebody trying to pull one over on us? Are they trying to really make sure we know this is about Cortina and Queen Creek, right? You got to be careful with the overusage. All right, I'm going to move on to the next one here. There's some good stuff to kind of take out of that post, though, and, especially in terms of, you know, if you have evergreen content, don't put a big, huge expiration date on it. And I would, if she's done the same, like, you can absolutely go back and change some of these, right? So as we look at some of the other ones that she has, like, because she has such great info in here. This is such good info in here, right? And it's timeless, right? It's gonna be relevant way past June 5th. So she needs to just really be careful with that stuff.